answers. Okay. To understand as well, to write the answer. In physics, do write. That's the best way to understand the things. Okay, so we can start now. So electrostatic force we'll be discussing today. Non-coordinate force, we have discussed. The gravitational force we have discussed already. Electricity, electrostatic force will be discussed. Electricity, you all know, that is electrons are moving. Here, the electrons are static. They are not moving. So mainly, this force occurs on on insulators. Comb is an insulator. The monite rod, the glass rod, they were insulators. So here, there is no motion of the electrons. There is no movement of the electrons. That's why it is static. The electrons are static. The electrons which are generated are static. And due to that force generated, that is called as electrostatic force. This is clear that we have discussed in 8th class as well. Okay. Electricity is different from electrostatic force. In electricity, the electrons move. In electrostatic, the electrons do not move. Okay. And this occurs in insulators. Electricity in conducting materials. Okay. So electrostatics, how we take one example. So for example, you have comb. We are having a comb. Now, as we rub on the hairs, what will happen? The electron transfer will take place. So see here, for example, on hairs, we are rubbing the comb. So what happens? See here, both are different materials. Hairs are different material and comb is made of different materials. So it will depend on which both loves the electrons. But whose love is more stronger? That will take away the electrons. The comb want to take away the electrons from the hairs. The hairs want to take away the electrons from comb. So when we rub, there is a transfer of electrons. So whose love is more stronger? That will take away the electrons. So here, these are the hairs. So electrons, this comb, it will take the electrons from here. So this comb will have excess of electrons and it will be negatively charged. Whereas the hairs, it will become positively charged. Okay, this is clear. They get charged. Now they will attract. Since they are positively charged, they attract. Or you do one thing, after rubbing the comb, bring the comb near the pieces of paper. What will happen? They were neutral, pieces of paper were neutral. But as you bring the comb near the pieces of paper, charge will be induced in pages, in this paper. So it is negatively charged. So here on this side, positive charge will be induced, on the farther end, negative charge. Positive charge, negative charge. This as well we have discussed. This as well we have discussed in last year. Okay. Now they get, since negative charge and positive charge here, so they get attracted. This is electrostatic force. So if opposite charges are there, they will attract each other. They will attract. If same charges are there, same charges, they will repel. They will repel. Opposite charges attract. Same charges repel. So electrostatic force can be attractive or the repelling force. It can attract as well, it can repel. This is clear. Whereas gravitational force was always attractive. Gravitational force was attractive. It is attractive as well repulsive. They can attract, they can repel, depending on the kind of charges. If they are opposite charges, they will attract. If they are same charges, they will repel. So electrostatic force can be attractive as well repulsive, depending on the kind of charges. Whereas gravitational force is always attractive in nature. Okay, electrostatic force is clear. Next, we discuss magnetic force. We are discussing 10th chapter as well a little bit. So if same poles are there, or first we take different poles. If different poles are there, then they attract. If same poles are there, they will repel. So if I have magnet, North Pole, South Pole, other magnet, if North Pole is brought closer, they will repel. If South Pole is brought, that is opposite poles, they will get attracted. So magnetic force is also attractive or repulsive. It can be either attractive or repulsive depending on the nature of poles. Depending on the nature of poles. And here we have discussed magnetic induction as well. Okay. For example, this is a magnet. If I bring it closer to a nail, what will happen? Which pole will be induced here? If it is north here, which pole will be induced here?
South.
South pole.
South.
And on the other end, north pole. And they get attracted. So you can see the similarity between electrostatic force and magnetic force. Or we can say they are the two faces of the same coin. You can see the comparison here as well. The charge is induced. Opposite charge is induced and they get attracted. Here as well, the opposite pole is induced and they get attracted. So if you study electrostatic force, you will understand the magnetic force very easily. If you understand magnetic force, you can understand electrostatic force very easily. So they are two faces of the same coin. This is clear. Now one more thing we'll be discussing. Okay, this we have discussed gravitational force is always attractive in nature, whereas electrostatic force and magnetic force, they can be attractive or repulsive depending on the kind of charges or the poles respectively. This is clear. Now see one more thing. This is positive charge, this is negative charge, or positive charge or positive charge. So two charges we have. If I increase the distance, the force between them will decrease. The force between them, the electrostatic force between them will decrease, or positive you take, or negative you take. The force between these charges depends on the separation of these two charges. So between the separation, the force between them depends on the separation. If the distance increases, the force decreases. That means the force is inversely proportional to the distance. I denote it by R or distance, you can denote. It is inversely proportional. And how? Square of the distance. Okay. Force varies inversely with respect to square of the distance. Okay. Now, if I double the distance, if distance is doubled between them, the separation is doubled, the force will what will be the impact on force?
Decrease by 4 times.
By 4 times. So 1/4 it will become. You can see as well. If this is F1, now F2, proportional to 1 upon 2, because distance is doubled, 2r squared. So F2 proportional to 1 upon 4r squared. And F1, so F2 is what? 1 upon 4 times F1. So force has decreased to 1/4. Force has decreased to 1/4. This is clear if distance is doubled. Have you understood this one? So these
So
were
how
the
it became 4 times? Why not twice? Like the
Why
distance
not?
was, so distance was square. Force.
Distance okay. This is how the force varies. It is proportional to 1 upon r square, electrostatic force, or the magnetic force. That force inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Okay. If distance changes by 2r, that is distance is doubled. Now the force will be proportional to 1 upon 4r square. 2r the whole square. So 4r square. So force become 1/4. Force become 1/4.
Sir, why we have taken 2r over here?
Okay, we can take any other one. Okay, 2r means the distance is doubled. Okay, if I decrease the distance, if it becomes 3r, you can take any distance. I am telling that how if it is the distance has increased to 3r, then the force will be what?
Decrease by 9 times.
Decrease by 9 times. So I have F 1 upon 9 r square. So it will become 1/9 of the earlier force. Earlier they were separated by r distance. The force was F. Now if I triple the distance between them, then the force will become 1/9 of the original force.
You can explain again.
Okay.
Sir, it is 1/9 of the distance square.
Okay,
Or
see it again.
1/9 of the
Just a
distance.
minute. Just a minute. See it again and then ask. Okay. I'm explaining it again once again. Force is proportional, inversely proportional to r square. Okay. It is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Okay. Square of the distance. Now see here. In first case, take any charge, positive, positive, negative, negative, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay. It is r distance. Okay. So now if I double the distance, this, now the charge is here, negative charge. And this is 2r. So what's the relation between the force? Here F force is there, F1, here F2 force. So F2 force is how many times the F1? So F is proportional to 1 upon r square. That is F1. Okay, F2 is proportional to 1 upon 2r square. F2 is how much? 1 upon 4r square, proportional to 4. So you can see the F2 becomes 1/4 of the F1. Force has decreased to 1/4 of the force. If distance is doubled, force decreases to 1/4 of the original force. Now you can ask anyone.
Sir, force is decreased by 4 times or 1/4 times?
Force is decreased by 4 times. Okay. Or I'm saying it is decreased to 1/4 of the original force. It decreases by 4 times. Understood?
Sir, but
Yes,
original
sir.
distance was
Yes.
r.
Yes, original distance was r. Okay.
So it
So
means
at
force is decreased to 1/4 of the r.
okay, see here. F1 is proportional to 1 upon r square. F is proportional to, or F is, okay, see, F is proportional to 1 upon r square. Inversely proportional, okay. F2, F1 is proportional to 1 upon r square. F2 is proportional to 1 upon r square. How F1 and F2 are related? They are 1/4 of the, so F2 equal to 1 upon 4 F1. Okay, take it like this. Okay. Proportionality sign we remove. F1 equal to take any constant upon r square. This is there. Force equal to k upon r square. K remains always constant. Okay. Now, in the second case, F2 will be how much? K upon 2 r square. F2 equal to k upon 4 r square. F2 equal to k upon r square is what? F1. 1 upon 4 F1. Have you understood now?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes.
F2 is equal to 4 times F1.
1/4 times, 1/4 of the force, original force. So earlier, for example, the force between them is 20 Newton. Now the force will be how much?
So how we will tell in words?
How to tell in words? Okay, see here. If the distance of separation between the two charges is doubled, the force becomes 1/4. Force decreases by 4 times or decreases to 1/4. It is written in book as well. You can see its magnitude. So on doubling the separation, the force becomes 1/4. On doubling the separation, 2 times you increase, the force becomes 1/4.
So, sir, it means that as the bodies move apart, the force is becoming weak.
Yes, it is decreasing. It is weak. You can see as well. Take two magnets. If they are very, very far away, will they be able to attract? No. You bring it
No.
closer, 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 closer. You can see, and some at some moment, at some distance, they move fast.
And so, what if we have to do the reverse?
Reverse, as well, if you are increasing the distance, the force will be decreasing between them.
No, sir. If you are bringing the two far away bodies closer in the terms of these constant.
If you're bringing closer, the force will increase. The force will increase. Okay. If you, okay, take the example. It is R. Now I am decreasing the distance by R by 2. F1 R, and here the distance is R by 2. Separation distance is R by 2. Forget this part. And now calculate F2. F2 equal to what? K upon R by 2 the whole square. F2 equal to K upon R upon 4. 4 K upon R square. That is F2 equal to 4 F1. So how many times force has increased? 4 times. If distance of separation is reduced by half, is reduced to half, then the force becomes 4 times. Is this clear now?
So in the previous equation,
Yes, sir.
K was constant.
K is constant, yes.
So on the right hand
Okay,
side is K is
see,
constant.
okay, yes, K is constant. It is like this, F equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. So I have this taken as something like that. Okay, leave that. In high classes, you will study those formulas between two charges, force between two charges.
So then how its value came out 1 by 4.
See here, okay, it depends on the medium. It depends on the medium, kind of medium, and sign it depends on. So leave that part. That will be difficult for us. So I've taken K. K remains constant for the medium. For the same medium, this constant K remains same. This is proportionality constant. For example, we have two, F is proportional to 1 upon R square. So to make them equal, we need some constant. So how to get this constant? Two charges, then we measure the force. Then again with different charges, we measure the force. And we find the value of K. Okay.
Sir, this formula is applicable for non-contact force.
For non-contact force. This is for electrostatic and magnetic force. As well,
Okay, sir.
gravitational force, how it varies. It is applicable gmm upon 4r square. That formula is studied. G equal to gm, this is mass of the planet, this is mass of the body, 4r square. So these are applicable for non-contact forces. Okay, this is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go through this chapter, and if you have any doubt, do ask. So at home, you can go through it. In next lecture, you can ask. So we are having time, 20 minutes. So I can complete the Newton's first law of inertia. It is very easy and important. Most of the first law we have already discussed. That day, Udit has asked many doubts, and we have discussed first law as well, third law as well. Little bit of second law as well, we discussed that day. So now we'll be discussing Newton's first law of motion, and here we'll be discussing inertia. Newton's first law and inertia we'll be discussing here. Okay. So see here, till now in second chapter we have discussed linear motion, that body is moving. But we haven't discussed the cause. So today we'll be discussing the cause. So we'll be discussing today cause. What is the cause for the motion? Force. Whenever force is applied, a body can be set into motion, or we can stop the body by applying force. So in that chapter, we have discussed car is moving when we accelerate. So it increases speed when it accelerates, or it stops when we deaccelerate the body. So that is, we have to apply force to make a body to come into motion, or to make a body to come to rest. This is clear? So that cause is force. So we'll be discussing more about force. Okay, so before Galileo, there was a view. What view was there? For example, a body is there. It is at rest, for example. Now, if we apply force on it, it will be moving. It starts to move. Now see here, two keep the body in motion. To keep the body in motion. And which motion? Uniform motion. Uniform motion means the speed remains same and the direction remains same. That is, velocity does not change. Velocity remains same. The speed remains same and the direction remains same. So to keep the body in uniform motion, we have to constantly keep applying the force. A constant force is always applied on the body to keep the body in motion. That is in uniform motion. Okay, so before Galileo, this view was there. This view was folded. And there is a problem with this view. What view? That we'll be discussing after some time. Okay. So before Galileo, it was there. If your body is there, if you apply force, it will be set into motion. And the body is moving in uniform motion. So to keep the body in uniform motion, we have to constantly keep applying the force. You have to constantly apply the force on the body. This was the view before Galileo. Now, this view was discarded and Galileo proposed a view. And what it was, that is, if your body is there, once we apply a force, it will always be in motion. Once apply force, now don't apply force. If it is moving, it will keep on moving. It will always be in uniform motion. So this was Galileo's view. The body is set, we apply a force, it is set into motion. Now if we remove the force, the body will always keep on moving with the uniform motion. It will be moving with uniform motion. We do not need any force to keep the body in uniform motion. Okay, now tell me, why in the first place it was said that force is required to keep the body in uniform motion? Anyone in class?
So I think it was not vacuum. Air was present there.
Okay, so see here the friction was there. So when a body is there, I set into motion. It will stop after some time. Okay, reason is there, I stopped applying the force, but some force is acting on the body. Which force? Frictional force. And that because of that, it got stopped. Okay, so because of that force, this body got stopped. But Galileo is saying that when a force is applied on a body, and if there is no force acting on the body will keep on moving with the uniform motion. It will keep on moving with the same speed and in the same direction. Okay. So a body once set in motion, it will always remain in motion unless any force is applied on it. That is, no force is acting on this body. Even the frictional force, any kind of force is not acting on this body, then this body will always be in motion. It will never stop. Okay. So who was right? Galileo was right. Here, before Galileo, they forget to take the frictional force into account. They forget to take the frictional force into account. That's why they told that a constant force is required. This force is required to overcome the frictional force because a constant force was always retarding the body, acting opposite to the motion. So, and Galileo says that once a force is applied, the body is set into motion, it will always remain in motion unless any force is not acting on it. Unless a force is acting on it. No force is acting on it, it will keep on moving. It will never stop. This is clear? So, the first law of motion, it is Newton's first law of motion, is that if a body is there, if a body is at rest, it will always remain at rest. It won't change its state unless a force is applied on it. Unless a force is applied on it, it won't change its state. So if I apply force, it will change its state. It will be in motion. Okay. Now its second part is there. If a body is in motion, it is moving in motion, that is uniform motion. It won't change its state of motion. It won't change its state of uniform motion unless a force is applied on it. If a body is moving, it will keep on moving unless any force is applied on it. It will keep on moving with
Excuse me, sir.
uniform. Yes.
Sir, in vacuum, there is no force. So if we throw something, then it
It will
will
never
continue
stop.
in its motion.
Yes, it will never stop. It will always go in a straight line and with the same speed. That is uniform motion. It will never stop.
Sir, but if we are throwing it in a room, then it will stop by the walls.
See here, it will see here. If I throw it like this, what will happen? Frictional force of the air is there, that will stop. There is one more force, gravitational force. So it will fall down. Or if I did more force I did, so it will hit the wall, may come back, little bit come back and then fall back. So as it wall will apply a force, it will stop and then it traces back a little bit path and falls down because force are acting on it. If I throw it,
So, sir, there is no place where we can't apply a force.
there is
Sir, means there is no such place where there is no force.
space we can consider it. Okay, space we can consider it as well as complete vacuum, no gravitational force. Okay, but ideally there is no place such place. Okay, so these are the Newton's
Okay, sir.
law. So what does the Newton say? If your body is at rest, it will always remain at rest. It will always remain at rest unless a force is applied on it. Okay. So this body do not want to change its state unless a force is applied on it. We need to apply some force on it to move it, to change the state. Okay. And if a body is in motion, if it is moving in motion, and if no force is applied on it, it will keep on moving. It will keep on moving in uniform motion. That is, it will keep on moving with the same speed and in the same direction. This is Newton's first law. So to change the state, we require force. Some force has to be applied to change the state, whether from state of rest to state of motion, or from state of motion to state of rest, or whether to change the speed or the direction, we need to apply the force. If no force is applied, the body will remain in state of rest or in state of uniform motion unless any force is applied. This is Newton's first law. You can read the lines as well, read the statement and see if any doubt is there. According to Newton's first law of motion, if a body is in a state of rest, it will remain in the state of rest. And if it is in a state of motion, it will remain moving in the same direction with the same speed unless any force is applied on it. That is, unless any external force is applied on the body. Unless any external force is applied on the body. Is this clear? Newton's first law. The words are clear. Newton's first law is clear. Anyone have doubt, do ask.
So before this Newton's first law, so you taught about two laws.
That was views. Like it was before Galileo, the view was there. View. And after Galileo, the Galileo as a proposed a view. Okay. Mainly the
both
Galileo
were
view
by
is nothing but
Galileo. Both were by the same person.
once again ask who are the same person?
So before this Newton's first law, you taught about two laws, two views. You can say.
Yes, two views are there. So see
So
here.
both were by Galileo.
No. Before Galileo means someone else has proposed that law. Before Galileo, the view was holding. Okay. As Galileo proposed the view, the earlier view was discarded. Okay. Now Galileo view is same as the Newton's first law. Yes or no? Is same. Okay. Now we discuss inertia. Okay. Now see what does inertia means. If body is there, you apply a force. Initially, the body doesn't move. That means you haven't applied the proper force. You keep on increasing the force to move the body. Yes or no? You keep on increasing the force. So what is this body is doing? It is resisting the change. This body is resisting the change. It do not want to change its state. We are keep on applying the force. So after some time, as we are increasing the force, this body starts to move. So what is inertia? Inertia is the inherent property of the body, which opposes the change. The body does not want to change its state. If it is a state of rest, it wants to continue its state of rest. If it is a state of motion, it wants to continue its state of motion. Okay, it does not want to change its state. That is inertia. That is inertia. Or you can say stubbornness. Like the students are stubborn, they don't study, they don't study. And then external force is to be applied. So it will depend how much external force we apply, the student starts to study. Yes or no? Or somehow some internal force generates. Similarly, the body has the inertia. So what is property? The property of object by virtue of which the body tends to retain the state. If it is at rest, it will always remain at rest. It want to retain the state. It want to retain the state. That tendency of the body is called as inertia. Okay?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, here, what is the meaning of inertia?
Inertia, it's the tendency of a body. Tendency of a body, the inherent property of the body to resist the change. That is, if it is in rest, this body want to retain its rest position. It want to be always staying rest position. If the body is in motion, it always want to be in state of motion. It does not want to change its state. So inertia is nothing but the property by which the body want to retain the state. It want to retain the same state, or it means it opposes any change. It will oppose any change. Okay, so tendency, this inertia is different for each body. Some body will have less inertia, some body will have more inertia. It is different. So for example, a smaller block you can simply push a little force, it will start to move. That means this block is having less inertia. Now take a bigger block. And if you apply the force, you require more force to move it. That means it has more inertia. It has more tendency to retain the state. Is this clear now? Or you can take one more
Yes,
example.
sir.
Okay, at home, you are having one truck, okay, and you are having scooty. Okay, now with some force, you can move it. Okay, you can make it fall. Bhavika, please mute yourself. Okay, see here for next 2 minutes, I have muted you all. Okay, after 2 minutes, I will unmute you. You can ask if any doubt you have. Okay, for 2 minutes, I have muted you. Okay, so see here, at home you are having truck as well as two vehicle. Okay, scooty you have it. So you want to drop them. So you can just with a small force they will fall. The scooty will fall, but you need to apply very huge force to make it fall. Okay, this is the truck. You have to make it fall. So what does it mean? It will oppose. It will oppose as well, but with little force it will fall. That means it have less inertia. Less inertia it have, that it means it will oppose, but little it will oppose. It have little tendency to retain the state. So you apply little force, it will fall. But truck, you have to apply huge force to topple it down, or you have to make it fall. That means it have high inertia. It have more inertia. Okay, Udit, 1 minute. It have more inertia. So it have more tendency to oppose the change. It have more tendency to retain the state. Okay. Okay, you can ask now.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in this case, it depends on the stability due to the number of tires.
Tires. Okay, forget about those. Okay. These tires are punctured. These are punctured. Now more stable they are. Okay, forget about that. It's a plain road, very rough road. Those factors will live.
Sir,
We
this
have to
also
top
depends on the surface area.
the surface areas. I have to topple it down. It is there. I have to topple it down on that side, on the other side. As well, I have to topple this down.
Excuse me, sir.
It's inertia is one of the factor. Yes.
Sir, can we define inertia as the tendency? Inertia is the tendency of an object to resist its change in state.
To resist the change of state. Yes, that is inertia. See here, it is the same thing. It will oppose the change. It will resist the change of state, or it has the tendency to retain the state. If it is in state of rest, it want to be state of rest. So any change we want to apply, it will oppose. It will oppose. It will keep on opposing. So we have to apply more force to change its state as compared to scooty. Okay. So why we have to apply more force to change its state? Which is having more mass. This is having
The truck.
more mass truck than mass of scooty. That means inertia depends on mass. Inertia is directly proportional to the mass. More the mass, more the inertia. More the mass, more the inertia. This is clear? So inertia depends on mass. If more the mass of the body, more inertia will be there. More opposition will be there. More the tendency to oppose the change, more the tendency to retain the state. This is clear?
Sir, does inertia depend on friction force?
No, it has nothing to do with friction force. That is external force. That will be force applied on the body. Inertia
Okay,
depends
sir.
on mass. Inertia depends on mass. Okay. Okay, inertia is clear. Now the one definition of force is as well given. Force is the external cause which can move a stationary object or which can just change the state of motion of a moving object. Okay, there is the definition of force. You can go through the one definition that is given in box. If you are in doubt, to ask. So force is nothing but external cause which can change the state of rest or can change the state of the moving object. Either the direction or the speed or both. Okay. Okay, now here in
Excuse me,
mass.
sir.
Yes.
Sir, inertia only resists the change of the state, or it also resists the size of the object.
Size. Okay, that you means inertia depends on mass. So flexibility that I have to go through it once. Okay. Inertia has nothing to do with the elasticity or flexibility of the bones. Okay, that I can tell you first. I have to go through it once. Inertia mainly
Have you
depends on
taken
mass.
attendance?
No, I'll be taking. Thanks for that. Okay, any more doubts you ask?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
So inertia is indirectly proportional to force or directly proportional to force?
Here, inertia has nothing to do with force. Inertia depends on mass. Inertia
And
depends
sir,
on mass.
on which inertia depends?
It depends on mass. Mass only. It depends on mass. Okay. For
Other
time being,
than
just mass.
this, no.
It does not depend on force. Okay. Other factors you leave it for time being. Okay. It depends on mass. Inertia is property of mass. If more the mass, more the inertia. Okay.
So why don't it depend on force? Like the force.
No, how it can depend on force?
Sir, how can we measure inertia?
Inertia. See here, inertia has been calculated depending on the different shape of the body. For example, same mass may be there, but if the shape are different, their inertia will be
Time up.
different.
Sir, time up.
The inertia will be different depending on the shape of the
Sir, have
body.
you
as
taken
well.
attendance?
I have taken attendance.
Force factors will depend. If force will increase, then inertia will decrease, and if inertia will increase, then force will decrease.
Okay, I wasn't able to get it to the
Sir,
words.
time up.
Okay, ask again. Ask again.
I'm saying like that if we increase the force, then inertia will decrease, and if we decrease the force, then inertia will increase. So we can say that inertia is indirectly proportional to force.
Okay. You are saying that if body is there, if I apply some force,
Sir,
little
time up. Thank
inertia,
you, sir.
more force, more inertia, that's wrong. Inertia does not depend on the body. See here, you have read the definition. Inertia is the inherent property of the body. That is, inside the body, it depends on the body, not on the external things. Force is the external thing. On the internal things only it depends. Inherent property of the body. This is clear? Okay, the geography doubts you are having, ask whatever you have.
Sir, can we leave?
Yes, you can leave. The geography doubts you want to ask anything.
Around the chlorine monoxide, they have electronegative character.
Okay, I'm not able to get the clear voice. Anyone who are able to hear, just please tell me.
Sir, I don't know that it is the same doubt, but the previous doubt was that if we apply little force, then the inertia will be more, then the
No,
inertia will be less.
no, inertia does not depend on force applied. It is inherent property of the body. The body is, see here, body is you apply little force. It is opposing, it is not moving. So we have to increase, keep on increasing the force. We have to keep on increasing the force. The force has nothing to
So
do with
to
inertia.
inform the force, how we come to know about the inertia?
Inertia, there are formulas to calculate inertia. Okay, then again we will go out of syllabus. So everybody is having different inertia. Okay, if this is there, okay, if I push it with a little force, it will fall. It is having less inertia. If same mass, if I make it smaller block, it will have more inertia. So inertia is inherent property. It is inside the body. The mass of the body is inherent property. Inertia is inherent property. It depends on the mass. Yes, greater the mass, greater the inertia. It depends on mass. It depends on mass. So for timing, just see, it depends on only the mass of the body. How the in 9th or 10th or 11th you will study different bodies like it is a disc, ring, their inertia 0 to calculate.
So geography doubt.
Yes, geography doubt. One doubt was it is that helicopters mainly fly in troposphere. Why?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can leave those who want to. Yes, one reason is there. As yes, just a minute. Let me tell this, and you can ask. So as you move up in the air, the density of the air decreases. So mainly these helicopters, their cabins are not pressure proof. Their cabins are not pressurized. Therefore, if you move up, the pressure inside the cabin will decrease. You won't be able to breathe. That's why mainly the helicopters are in troposphere. As well, the fan, it requires medium to push downward. Then only it will rise. So as the medium get rarefied, it won't be able to fly. Even the weather balloons, they do not go in mesosphere up to the stratosphere only. Okay, aeroplanes they can be pressurized. Now see one more thing. They require medium as well to fly. So they mainly fly near the tropopause. So they have to manage air pressure as well the less turbulence. Less turbulence they reduce atmosphere. So they have to balance that one. And it can be pressure.
One more reason,
Yes.
helicopter less speed than airplanes, so they fly low in the lower spheres.
Okay. Anyone who is able to hear it clearly, please tell me. I'm not able to hear clearly. Anyone in class who got it clear?
Sir, he said something like there could be another reason, like afterwards I didn't hear. Some
Okay.
another reason he said.
Okay. What could be
Udit,
the
you may tell in the chat box.
Because engine also requires air to work. Yes, that's the reason. See,
Sir,
same
air
step.
is also available upper
Oxygen.
side also.
See here, air is rarefied. So as we increase the density decreases, so more air need to be poured in. Less air, less engine capacity to work.
And sir, it could be like helicopter have friends.
Helicopter speed less than air. No, that's not the reason. Helicopters, see, they works on different phenomena. Helicopters, one big that fan is there that has to push the air downwards. And the cabin of the helicopters is not pressurized. Mainly, it is the cabin of the airplane. Helicopter is not pressurized. That's the main reason. Aeroplanes, it is pressurized. More commercial flights, they are at more height. More commercial flights, they can go for more high technology, more advanced technology. They can go for cabins are pressurized. Even the engines they have, they are more advanced. So more the advanced, more higher they can fly.
Sir, and what about that private jet?
Yes,
Where
they
do they
very
fly?
asked out. Don't say speed and all that. Udit and Mohit.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes,
Sir, where do these private jet fly?
private jets. Okay,
Yes, sir.
above troposphere, meaning stratosphere they fly.
Sir, same like aeroplanes.
Yes, same like aeroplanes, they fly. They may be little bit above the aeroplanes as well. Okay, there's one more thing, main features. Jet streams are there in stratosphere. Usually, like if jet streams they are flowing in this direction, though if plane is moving in this direction, if they can use these jet streams to increase their speed. So less fuel is required, even the speed is increased. While coming back, for example, they will fly above these jet streams because this will decrease their speed, jet streams. In stratosphere, just above the tropopause, jet streams are as well there. You can check
And sir, for
these were first noticed when the atom bombs were America what dropped the atom bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So at that time, the pilot said that something have like while going to Japan, something has increased their speed. While coming back, it retarded. So later on, the jet streams were discovered. Devesh,
sir,
please don't put such comment.
sir, one doubt was regarding the formation of clouds.
Formation clouds, yes. Okay, that is literally that is because of the vapor pressure. Mainly the clouds are limited to troposphere. 99.9% of the water vapor is limited to troposphere. Okay. Rest, that is just 0.1% is some clouds are in stratosphere. Very, very, very less or uh, in mesosphere as well. In stratosphere as well, clouds are there, but you can see just 0.1%. Most of the water vapor is concentrated in troposphere. The reason behind why it depends on the vapor pressure. So how chlorine monoxide can combine with the electronegative characters of monoxide. Fine, because they both have electronegative character. Okay, Udita asking one doubt: how chlorine monoxide can combine? Because both have bicovalent bonds. Okay. Okay, this I have to check once. Okay, I'm not that good in chemistry, so I have to go through that. Mainly it is because of covalent bonds, maybe sharing of electrons then. Okay, that I have to go through it once. Any more doubts?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if you're free just once, can you tell that temperature one?
Okay, what you want to troposphere, the temperature decreases as we go up. Troposphere. Then we have stratosphere, temperature increases. Then we have mesosphere, temperature again decreases, then we have thermosphere. Temperature again increases, then we have exosphere. Forget about the temperature again decreases. Okay, so troposphere it increases up to 10 degrees Celsius, minus 10 or 10, 10 it was. No, minus 50. Minus 50 at tropopause it is minus 50 degrees Celsius, here it is 10 degrees Celsius. Then it is minus 143 or 153 degrees Celsius. Here it is around 1500 degrees Celsius. Further 0 degrees Celsius to 1700 degrees Celsius. So now ask the question what you want to ask.
So that how the temperature increases and decreases again and again.
Okay, I haven't heard of this line, Karman. So I'll check it. Karman. I think it is these names, I think, is set to. Yes, here it is. I think it is somewhere. It's this line is called size Karman, I think. Or the inos, the layer generated F or their name maybe. So I have to go through it once. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ask.
So I was asking that why does the temperature again increases and decreases?
Okay, why? Okay, exosphere we take. Exosphere. Exosphere. Yes, it is somewhere in thermosphere. I've read
No,
somewhere.
sir. I am saying
No.
that first
Someone is
it is
asking text.
first it is
Okay,
increasing, then again it is decreasing.
okay. I'll be telling that one. Don't worry about that. So this may be in thermosphere. I've seen somewhere. I think this layer is called Karman. I think, but I have to go through it once to confirm it. Okay. So exosphere we have. Okay, for example, exosphere. Here we have the helium and hydrogen. And now see here. Here the atmosphere is very, very rarefied. The molecules they are very far apart. They don't collide. So there will be no transfer of heat among them. So they get heated. They get heated. Now see what the case here. Temperature is 0 degrees Celsius or it may be 1700 degrees Celsius. How? Here, whatever the stuff is there, any space shuttle or anything is there that will be exposed to the sunlight. All the X-rays or the UV rays that will be incident on the sunny side. Okay, so this surface of the object, which is facing the sun, it will be get heated up to 1700 degrees Celsius. Whereas the other part, which is shaded portion, no sunlight is reaching, that could be as cold as 0 degrees Celsius because there is no medium to transfer the heat. Forget about the conduction among the molecules of the substance. So space station you take, its one part will be as hot as 17 degrees Celsius. The other part will be as cold as 0 degrees Celsius. That is in exosphere. The medium is very, very rarefied. Now, as you move, it will be little bit more dense as compared to exosphere, but still it is very rarefied. Now see here, so more far away, more hotter it will be. This is clear. In exosphere, thermosphere, what happens? We have the gases. Now see here. Here as well we have helium, hydrogen, carbon dioxide as well. Some oxygen as well is present there. Now the X-rays, gamma rays, those all heat up. These rays, gamma rays, they choke out the electrons from the molecules of the gases. From the atoms of the gases, they take out the electrons and the gas get ionized. Now see here, as we move more away, the less ionization is taking place. So different layers are formed. Here you have already studied, we have studied. See one more thing I forgot that day. Up to mesosphere, we have homosphere. Mainly the gases are homogeneously mixed. But after this, the gases are in layers. They are arranged in layers. So there will be different amount of ionization taking place, depending on the which gas is present above, which is at lower. This is clear. So up to homosphere, we have up to mesosphere, we have homosphere. There the gases are homogeneously mixed. Above homosphere, they are arranged in layers. Sorry for they are arranged in layers, therefore it is called as heterosphere, above mesosphere. This was one division depending on the mixture of gases. Okay. Now the layers are there. So ionization take place, and because of ionization, heat is generated. Now more ionization, this layer as well get ionized. So this layer get ionized, this layer of gas get ionized. Now one layer in mesosphere as well get ionized. Okay, this is mainly F layer, this is F, E layer, this is D layer. So majority of ionization here, then here, and then here. So this will be the hottest portion. It will be little bit cold, it will be more cold. So minimum ionization in mesosphere. Even at night, this ionization disappears. This D layer disappears. Mainly these layers are called as ionosphere. This is called thermosphere because high temperature is there, 1500 degrees Celsius. This is called thermosphere. This is clear. In mesosphere, again you move little dense, but still it is rarefied. Medium is rarefied. Ionization is already taken place. Now, mainly the carbon dioxide is present here. Heat is absorbed and molecules are still far apart. So this will be the cold region. So as you move from the top, here ionization, little heat. But as we move up, it is colder. As we move downwards, here we have the ozone. It may be little bit ozone in the this mesosphere, so little bit maybe there. Oxygen. So these are not straightforward separation. Little bit mixing is always there. So here, here because of the ozone layer, the UV rays are converted into heat. So high temperature is here. So, and as you move downwards, the heat will be decreasing. In troposphere, the heat is mainly because from ground, the atmosphere gets heated. So mainly near the ground, more heat will be concentrated. As you move up, air is cooled. So here the greenhouse gases, other gases, they get heated, they move up. As they move, they expand. As they expand, they cool down. And then as they cool down, they become heavy, they again come back. So like convection currents are there. So now this is clear. Now this temperature thing is not in syllabus. You will be studying it much later.
Yes,
Which
sir.
college is meteorology? I don't have idea. Mostly I got these ideas from I had coaching for geography as well. I watched Discovery channels and all. Meteorology that I will see.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, when meteors fall on Earth, they break into pieces.
Yes.
Sir, is it true?
See what happens. Meteors are there. As they enter the atmosphere, their speed is very high speed. So it starts because of the friction, they starts to burn. As they enter the atmosphere, they starts to burn. Why? Because the friction of air is that high, the temperature increases very highly, and this stone vaporizes. It converted into vapors. So see here, as it is entering, it starts to burn. Here it is rarefied medium, so less burning is there. Mesosphere, mainly in mesosphere, most of the meteors are destroyed, and their material may be like suspended in mesosphere. And see here, if it is very huge,
So,
if
sir,
it
the
reaches the
meteorite
Earth's
can
surface, it is
never.
called as, see here, meteors can never come to the surface of the Earth. If they come, then they are called as meteorites. If any body that burns in the atmosphere, that is called meteors, and any body that reaches the Earth's surface, that is called meteorite. Maybe this is the definition of that. So
Sir, but
every day, many bodies are coming to Earth, and they get many like what the word name are there. Asteroids, or those are coming to the Earth, and they get destroyed here in the atmosphere. Yes, ask.
So,
sir,
sir, till
but
the time they reach the.
Okay, I
Dhanishka,
forgot.
you are asking, or should I ask?
Yes, ask. Probe is there. Yes, I read it about a
You
month back,
asked.
but I forgot most of the word. Osiris Rex probe. Probe is there. So that is mainly to study that asteroid. How many moisture is there? What are the materials are there? Or I will go through it again, Osiris. Yes, any more doubts?
Sir, but why these meteorites get attracted towards Earth?
Okay, see here, Earth is what? Which force is there on Earth?
So because
Gravity.
gravitational force.
Yes. So anything is
Sir,
passing
but
through it, Earth is attracted, it comes closer, it will be getting attracted.
sir, does moon
Gravitation,
also attract?
moon as well. On moon, it is falling, continuously falling. And see here, on moon, no atmosphere, you can see the traces, their name is there. Craters are there on moon. Those holes and
Sir,
all.
but there is no gravity on moon, then
There's
why they fall?
stars.
Who said there is no gravity?
Sir,
Is
space
moon having
travelers.
mass? No, there is gravity, but less as compared to Earth. Moon is smaller in size, therefore it has less gravity.
Sir, is time slow in space?
Okay, it will, that's a different concept. Okay, it is even said in the
So
if
when
gravitational
the
force is too
meteorite
high.
comes,
If gravitation is too high, then the time will
so
as
when the
well.
meteorite
Yes.
hit the Earth, so when the
Yes,
meteorite hit the Earth, their speed decreases.
it will keep on decreasing because frictional force is constantly acting, atmosphere. But speed I've seen few
So
days
sir,
back.
by coming to Earth, it will not cause any damage.
It will depend on the size. So a few days back I was watching one program. In that, even a size of a tennis ball. If a meteor reaches the Earth surface, even if the size of a tennis ball, I don't know how much ground, I forgot the area. That much area of crater it will generate. That much big. Even if it is size of a tennis ball. Because speed is very, very, very high. So more the speed, more the destruction will be there. Few days back I was watching that one program. They were simulating this
So
one.
sir, when the meteor is coming down through the layers of air, they
Yes.
disrupt their balancing and they make a hole in that.
That I don't know. It can happen. Anything can happen to the meteor. As it enters, the frictional force is there. It starts to burn. More and more it is entering. Speed is getting slowed as well. But the speed, even the speed is very, very high. The speed is very high. Through that, your feet.
Sir, here in different layers of atmosphere, does density varies?
Yes, again.
Sir, in different layers of atmosphere, does density vary?
This density varies. It constantly varies. As we are moving closer to the surface of the Earth, density keeps on increasing. That's one thing.
Sir, then
See
how
here,
sunlight travel?
sunlight how
Sir,
travels.
then how? Sir means when sun's rays will.
Okay, you are saying reflection of
Oh,
sun rays.
yes, sir.
Reflection will be taking place. That will study in physics most of the phenomena. Like if sun rays is here, you will see suns here somewhere here. So it is getting refracted always. Even the sun changes the color, red, yellow, white. So that all depends on absorption as well by the atmosphere. Refraction is taking place. So they get refracted. Yes, any more doubt? Okay, our feet is older than head. Okay, I have got
Yes, sir,
one.
it's
True. Maybe the feet are generated first, head generated afterwards, or something related with time. Any idea why our feet is older than head?
So the more you speak, the more doubts we are having.
Okay, do ask.
So now I had only one doubt, that a helicopter one, that why is it passing through, in the, and why aeroplane is above. And after that, when you started speaking, there are so many doubts.
Okay, keep asking, keep asking. Because always be curious to know the things. Because obtain a sample at least of 60 gram form. Benno, okay, 1019. Okay. Devesh has been written about Osiris. Osiris, Rex clocks. The probe has been sent.
Sir, really feet is older than head?
Okay, I have to go through it, Matt, on what's the reason.
Sir, how is it related to geography or physics?
Okay, I don't know, but maybe feet is generated first in the womb, then the head starts. I don't know that how to say. Okay, I give you one thing about the babies, small babies. Small babies are they can see only up to a few distance only, around 5 to 10 centimeters only. They can see clearly. They cannot see further. Einstein determined it was proven wrong. Yes, it will move. Einstein determined it was wrong level. Clocks in space move slower than clocks on Earth because time has a different rate depending on order. Yes. Okay. 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 This is see, a gravitational force affects the space-time fabric. That is the Einstein sentence, and it impacts time as well. It is being said in black hole the time stops. There is such high gravitational force there that clock stops, the time stops in black hole. And see here, if you are moving with some speed, if you move with more speed, your clock time will be different. You will be ahead, I think. For example, you go in space and come back to the Earth. Your time is forward as compared to one on the Earth. Yes, the time ends at the black hole. Okay, we should end it now. Okay, next week we'll have. Time stops. It is said that clock stops there. Okay, so
Sir, we can live forever in the black hole.
See here, if you are going closer to the black hole, you'll be stretched.
If we can,
Fragmented
then we
into
can.
atoms. You'll be fragmented into
Sir,
atoms.
what is the safest distance we can have on the black hole? Like, sir, the safest
That I don't
distance.
have idea what's it is for. But as you are going closer to the, you will be like spaghetti is there. You'll be stretched. Your arms will be broken and all, and you will be fragmented into atoms.
And sir, is time slow? Sir, is time varies in black hole also?
It is said that as you are moving closer to the black hole, your clock will be slow and slow. The time will be more slower and slower, and it will stop in the black hole. Moreover, is it mysterious in black hole? Even the scientists are, we haven't discovered much of the black hole.
So what is the reason?
Reason, I don't remember much now.
Because we
I'll
cannot
go
go
through it
inside.
once. Okay, I'll go through it once. It depends on the gravitational force and see here, space-time fabric is there. Different forces affect it different. Yeah. Bands in fabric is generated. I have to go through it once again. Yes, time stops in black hole. Okay, keep watching those channels. I keep on watching on those. Okay, we end now. We end the class. I have to go as well now. Okay, thank you.